Dear Venerable Sister and Brothers, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the talk today. May everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katame tayo dhamma bahukara sappurisa sansevo saddhamma savanang dhammanu dhamma patipatti. Dear Venerable Sister, Brothers and Dhamma friends, as we started the topic on which 3 are the greatly helpful, or 3 aspects of the greatly helping us, is the question Venerable Maha is asking, and he is enumerating. The first thing is the association with the noble friends or true man, and the second thing is hearing the true Dhamma, and the third aspect of it is the practicing of the Dhamma in its entirety. Along these 3 topics, we started yesterday on hearing the true Dhamma, and then we learned there are 6 qualities of Dhamma, of what the Buddha preached, and that is what we always use in chanting. Swakkato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehipassiko opanayiko pacchattam veitabbo vinyōyeti. And yesterday we took time to understand the swakkato, the first quality, and it is well proclaimed, or sometimes say Dhamma proclaimed by itself. The Buddha is just an agent to express it. So Dhamma has that, its beginning is very beautiful, the middle is beautiful, the end is beautiful, and it is explaining or proclaiming by itself. These are the theoretical ways define the term swakkata. And then is the sanditthiko. Sanditthika is verifiability. You can verify in this very life. And therefore, when we go to when we are understanding the comparative religion, the other denominations also they have knowledge, but they are not claiming the verifiability. Verifiability is basically on the faith, and verifiability you find in the only Sanditthika Sasana, or existentialist kind of understanding. So the way the Buddha present, not that it carries the other religious features like belief or faith, but the Buddha himself pinpointed or highlighted the Dhamma carries the quality sanditthiko, that means verifiability. That means in this very life. So that sanditthika quality, the verifiability, sometimes it indicated what are the verifiable benefits of moral restrainment, what are the verifiable benefits of the concentration restraint, and what are the verifiability of the wisdom restraint. So 3 restraint. 3 restraint, when and where you advance, you yourself experience, and if you fail to experience the same, then naturally you are deprived of the qualities. So when and where you are restrained, maybe within the moral restraint or precepts, the theoretical understanding means you know the relationship with respect to 5 precepts, with respect to 8 precepts, 9 precepts, 10 precepts, gone forth, high ordination, these different layers, and each and every one has its own gradation regarding the benefits. But in general, regarding this moral restraint, there is Sila Sikha. When and where you restrain, there are 4 kinds of fears disappears. When an immoral person, after listening to Dhamma or after association with a noble friend, true person, if determined to be a moral person or abiding by precepts, the Buddha assures he or she can lose one's own self-criticism. Because if you are not restrained yourself, more and more you advance in your life, the self-criticism is becoming more and more. That is what partly we call the frustration. Today the world is advancing through this technology, infrastructure, communication, but the amount of frustration, amount of tension also increasing. So more you become elderly, more you get frustrated, but instead, when and where you start this moral restraint, you feel now you are a person restrained and moral responsibilities are there, so much so you are free from this self-criticism, and it's a great contentment, it's a great achievement within a life. So that is what we call the culture. That's why we call the gentlemanship, or the coolness in our life. So when and where you see, when and where you observe precepts, if you don't feel that kind of a thing, that means your precepts are nothing but just ritual. That's called sila bata. When and where it is becoming a sanditthika, you feel what are the benefits you are going to get, and living example is your noble friend. Noble friend is showing, and you also trying to understand little by little, your tension releases, frustration and neurosis slowly releasing. And the other one is the criticism from the outside, your peer group. When and where you become restrained, moral, the criticism from the outside also reduces. And third aspect is you have no fear that you get caught in the penal code, go to the police, or go to the court, or go to the prison. Even if you go in the unfair way, you don't criticize yourself. You know it may be your past misdeeds, but it's called Dhammajiva. Dhammajiva means the punishment from the royal law, civil law. When and where you become moral restraint, you don't have it. And the last one is the fear on the nether world or apaya. So if you are living an immoral life, full of self-criticism, full of criticism from the others, and full of complaint from the civil law, even if you are showing a kind of a civilized life, but you know at the end, specifically as Buddhist, you will go into the nether world and there won't be any mercy. But when and where you, before go to the nether world, before go to your old age, when and where you impose restraint through morality, that change is indicating you not only you are safe on this earth, even after the death there is a protection from Dhamma. So these are the 4 qualities, kind of 4 kinds of fears. So when and where you become morally restrained, you become free of fear, 4 kinds of fear. So such a person won't experience that kind of fear when he is going to a royal cabinet, or when you go to an educated circle, when you go to a clergy, when you go to the rich people, you don't feel any fear. You can go and talk without much of a fear. So that is what we have to teach for our second generation, our children. They must be a full citizens, not fearful to the society, not fearful to the wealth, not fearful to the political powers, because they are contented by their own precepts. So therefore this is a kind of a dowry or thing we must give. So in order to think about the second generation, first and foremost, we have to install, this is something samditthika, that is something verifiable in this very life. If I am to quote the famous murderer Angulimala, he was a professional killer, and he went up to 999 and numbered, accounted for killing. And soon he met the Buddha and gave the gift of the Dhamma. Then he determined not to do it. And that day onward, he got such a power, because he knows the bad side, equally he's on the good side now, he's determined. So he had no any much of a fear about the past come also. He often go to the Buddha and going to get the meditation instructions, and Buddha readily gave it, and no compromise, he put them into practice. And then and there he felt, if he is not to fulfill his duties within this life, definitely he will go to the netherworld, and there won't be any kind of a release. So his practice was so ardent because his morality was very significant, and therefore in the Buddhist circles, in the Buddhist literature, his story is very famous. I may be giving wrong examples, maybe continuously. Even the King Asoka, he was Chanda Asoka first. Once he became Dhamma Asoka, he was the first missionary to the whole world. And then in Sri Lanka, Duttagamini. He was a kind of very ardent, very adamant and uncontrollable, unrulable person. Ultimately, he was the one reinstalled the Buddhism and everything. So in my early life also the same. So that is why maybe I am accumulating that kind of examples. I had no any idea about any precepts. And I had my life for the sake of pleasure. And when and where I found the mindfulness, of course I never determined to be a moral person, but Venerable Dhammika challenged me, if you are going to be a more mindful person, naturally the mindfulness will reinstall the morality. Just be mindful. And he went into such an extent, he told, do all the bad thing mindfully. You will never repeat it. And we can't tell it to decent people. They will misunderstand it. But when you know how much you are immoral, how much you have done mistakes, then you know it's a habitual thing, very difficult to do away with. The best thing is, if at all it is happening or doing, try to be mindful. Then you see, after the mindfulness get fixed, slowly, the morality or civilized situation happen. In me still I doubt whether I am a civilized person. I claim I am mindful, of course, but changes within these 30-40 years is remarkable. So you people are, with the opening balance is good in your case. Definitely I know it is not worse like me, but I am the person getting the highest benefit of this mindfulness, meditation, because the drastic change. So Sandittika pala, that means verifiable in this very life results, not that the Nibbana what we explained, what we enumerate as the final aim, but through morality itself, you can get it. And when the King Ajatasatha, Gautama Buddha asked, Bhante, I met all the other religious leaders, I asked them, you people are famous about your own cults and religious, but I'm asking what is the Sandittika Samanya Pala? The verifiable results of the celibate life. No one can give. When I'm asking about pumpkin, they are talking about the breadfruit. They have no. But I am asking you, Bhante, what are the Sandittika Samanya Pala? Then the Buddha what given, whenever you become a meditator, it's a very simple thing. You can sit and wait. You can be aware you are sitting. So that's a very big Samanya Pala. Because that if you are expecting something super mundane, next life, you will not be happy. But if you are expecting a Samanya Pala, Sandittika Samanya Pala, existentialist, and sitting and understanding, no, I am sitting, I know, and I know this is the biggest meritorious deed I have ever done, then that is a Samanya Pala. So I can talk all the 14 days on this subject itself, but I know you all are not ready to accept it. You wanted to have something special. That very special thing is the one undermining you. You don't appreciate Sandittika Samanya Pala, Sandittika or verifiable truth. The Buddha is so pragmatic, so down to earth. He says, Gacchanto va gacchami iti pajanati. Nisinno va nisinno mi iti pajanati. Tito ma tito mi iti pajanati. When I am walking, I know I am walking. When I am sitting, I know I am sitting. When I am standing, I know I am standing. When I am lying down, I know. So that knowledge no one can challenge. But no one consider this as a knowledge. No, everyone expect something extraordinary, something magic, something mystical. So much so, you overshoot this Samanya Pala. Of course, this understanding, when you are sitting, understanding that you are sitting verily, is not a moral restraint. It's come under the certain amount of concentration restraint, and that is a starting point. But you can use it as a criterion or as a test. When I am sitting, how many thought moments I know that I am sitting and how much I am appreciating it. More you advance in the meditation, this is the simple thing. Your appreciation become very vivid, and you will ask anyone whether they can challenge your appreciation, challenge your being here and now, challenge your contentment, challenge your solitude, challenge your peace of mind. No one. But we don't believe the Sandittika quality of the Dhamma, therefore we expect the next life, or how to teach others, how to make the whole Sri Lanka Buddhist. So these are the things, they never come under this simple category. But what is come under this simple category is verifiable under your very nose. So therefore, when and where you are talking about this Sandittika or verifiability for the non-religious or immoral people, they get fully upset. They know whatever the immoral thing they get, they do, they practice so much so they are frustrated. Here and now. Don't worry about the hereafter. And therefore they have their fear. But we have already committed. We have committed to be moral. And not only that, we are ready to go forward in the concentration restraint. And if possible, wisdom restraint. So therefore we must appreciate your early sacrifications. Early restraint is, if it is not appreciated, it is not conducive, it is not promoting, it is not giving a push to the further. So therefore, first and foremost thing is your verifiability in the moral restraint. And once that is happened, then the Buddha says, Avippatitharathaya ananda kusalani silani. If your mind is not wavering, if the mind is not perplexed and shaken, that's a more suitable situation for the concentration to set in. If the mind is shaken, if the mind is not settled, whatever the technique you are using, whatever the primary object you are using, whatever the best teacher you are using, it is not conducive. It is not promoting. So therefore, moral restraint and verification of this morality and the verification of your lack of frustration, lack of tension, don't expect some person to come and test it and show you. You yourself, as your openness, that is what you call Saddhamma Savanang. When you are listening to Dhamma, you must have something to put into practice and test it. And if you can happy about the moral restraint, accept it. It's a first and foremost thing for the concentration restraint to happen. So, if someone is not appreciating it and still only see, only think, only worry about your immoral part, that is, I would say, you are in a self-torturing, Attakilamatana yoga side. Whatever the techniques you are using, you use in a negative way, critical and inferiority complex is there. So therefore, take the morality in order to promote the samadhi sikkha or concentration restraint, and when and where you appreciate it, the mind is your determination power, the mind power, preparedness for the concentration is increasing. And when you come to the concentration restraint, the very nicely in the Samanyapala Sutta, the Buddha explained, when and where someone is fairly come up to the level of morality and ready to go for concentration, the Buddha says, when you sit, if you feel your body just like a lump of clay mixed with water, it is not oozing out, there are no dry particles also, it's well mixed and kept overnight, something like if you feel your whole body, each and every cell, that means you know what you call in, within the skin, and you know beyond the skin is not me, not mine, not myself, and whatever the body, if you feel, and how much continuously you can feel, that the Buddha says the Patamajjhana, that is the first absorption, and you utterly know your body, each and every nook and corner, and you know it is living, it is not dead, it is not unconscious. So that is what the beginning of the Samanyapala with respect to the concentration. So I would like to try to add, there was a question yesterday, at the beginning I get the breath, in breath and out, after a while it disappears, again I become aware of my sitting body or sitting posture, and then that particular person entertaining doubt, it's a progress or regress. From the breath, come back to the body. But from the Samanyapala Sutta, the body is the starting point. So when and where you love your body, when and where your body becomes your best friend, or when and where your body becomes your best Kalyanamitta, or your true person, and you are living with the body, that living is totality. It's contentment. And still if you feel, how can I think, how can I make this present moment, next moment also mindful like this, or diligent like that, when I go back home, can I be some same like this, or how can I teach it to my mother and father and the dear and near one, that each and everyone is adulterating your experience, because you are not here and now. So when and where you know your body, each and every corner if possible, and maybe at least most prominent part, something like the breath or touching points in your cushion, and that is enough. And when and where the mindfulness become fulfilled through that prominent experience, ultimately you feel the whole body. So this is samanya pala, that is the sandittika samanya pala or verifiable something. But if someone is not happy with that and not appreciating it, expecting extrasensory perception or magical power, that very expectation itself is undermining your present moment, your presence, your existence, your understanding that you are not dead, understanding that you are not sleeping, understanding that you are not unconscious. So if you can directly express this in your interview report, that means not only you know the way how to be mindful on your body, you know how to appreciate it. You know how to express it because you know that is the most important thing. That's the crux of our practice. And then when you are teaching someone, don't worry whether you know all the Tripitaka, whether you are a senior monk in the forest. Nothing. You have to tell the children or anyone, when you sit, how many thought moments you can aware, you can be mindful. Here now I am sitting. Of course you may find difficult to attribute it to a religious practice. You may find it difficult to attribute into a spirituality. But this awareness, that is called sandittika, anyone can experience. So that is why it says, ehipassika, anyone you can come and see. When you sit, if you know you are sitting, you can tell them, because it is a human nature. So how much we are appreciating it. So two aspects you can understand. One thing is how quickly you can go into the body when you are in a worried situation, when there's a pain, when there's future thinking, past thinking. The body, for the moment, we call gochara ajjhattika. Gochara means your pasture land. Ajjhattika means you are born with. That is your own. So consider this as a pivotal point. Consider this as a benchmark. Whenever past, future things are worrying, let them taken for a ride, no problem. How quickly you can come back to your body. And when and where you are to find ways and means, there is nothing hindering, there is nothing blocking. Because this is a birthright. Your body is a birthright. Only the Buddha is telling, use this birthright as the pivotal point, it is verifiable. So let the worries happen, let the past, future happen, let the other people come and hit you, whatever may be, as far as you are living, your body is there. And that very understanding you may feel becoming a human is a very rare thing. And that is the only thought moment you are living. Other time you are dreaming. You are dreaming future or past or regret. But when you are here and now, that sandittika pala, you can share with others, you can tell others, and when and where distraction happen, use this as a pivotal point. Use this as a benchmark. And imagine within the body if you find the breath, well and good. And within the body if you can find the rising and well and good. If you can find the left leg is painful, well and good. Because you know it is within the body. You can't say the pain is bad, the pleasure is good. As far as you are mindful within the body, you achieved. And if you can bravely write it and say, the toothache is there, still I know I am living in my body. And the headache is there, never mind, I know I am living. I am not sleeping, I am not unconscious. I know my body. So each and every time anything distraction or something attractive, if you can see through and go into the body, that is called gochara ajjhatta aramana, and you consider this as your refuge, this as your kalyana mitta, this as your true person, and make use it when you are making use, your faith upon your body and reliability, credibility upon the body is ever increasing, so much so, frustration can't live. So much so, tension cannot live. Because you are living. Whenever you are dreaming, you are utterly developing so much of frustration, so much of tension, because you are eccentric, you are not here and now. And when you go to the, of course, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, everything is, Buddha explained with respect to the body, and the last discussion in the last Saturday, we took the third jhana as the day's topic, and the Buddha says it is like a bud of a lotus or water lily. When it is inside the water, imagine it is completely cool. It's imbibed with the water. So likewise in the third jhana, when you live, when you experience the mindfulness on your body, is such a pervading coolness, and mind is almost ready for the equanimity, and you find the first jhana, second jhana qualities are much refined, and that is the biggest happiness you can earn on the earth. It is almost like Brahma world, because body is so subtle, but you know the shape is there, and it is so subtle, and you know it is not an accident, you know it is gradual development, and you know when it is going out, when you know when it is coming in. So that is the way the third jhanic experience they explain, and it's like the bud of a lotus inside the water, unbloomed, just like you feel it. And the fourth jhana, the Buddha says, you feel as if you are completely covered with a white cloth, and just like imagine you are meditating inside the mosquito net, like you're completely covered, you know, in and out, completely white, and you experience it. So, more and more you go into this Thandittika experience, ultimately not only you will challenge whether it's religious or spiritual, you will challenge, is it a result of meditation? Ultimately you are there, it is not a result of meditation, it's a birthright. Due to your past and future distraction, you are not at home. You are eccentric. And your whole society, everyone is pull you this way, that way, past, future, other people, other places. So you never live. You are living in a dream. So the Buddha says, please come back. Be at home. Be Sandittika. In that sense, you find your body not becoming old age, but becoming rejuvenated. More and more you are entertaining your body, and see it is the biggest, most refined machine on the earth, and you can use it, and you can entertain it, and then you can imagine what a way an Arahant or Buddha, when he is collected and calm in the body, what a kind of thing. We can't do due to bloody ignorance, idiotness, stupidity. And we think the past is more important, future is more important, mother is more important, father is more important, Sri Lankan Buddhism is more important. So these are the things we accumulated on the way, conditioned, and therefore your simplicity, your here and now lost. And mind you, the people you are associating never happy when you gain Sandittika Pala. They are the culprit pulling you from your present moment. That's why Buddha is never happy to be very close friend with you. He is far away. He just tell and go away. But you are close by people, so-called relatives, so-called peer group, they are really hacking, they are really pulling you out. So go to a forest, sit under a tree, go to a solitude place. So these you have to earn. And once you go there, you have to learn the art, how to be contented within your body. And when you go to the wisdom training, you know you are sitting, and while sitting, you can hear the sound. And you can understand, sitting within we consider as a positive, white and meritorious, and going out So you may think sometimes you are wandering mind and something hating the sound and kind of thing. So therefore you can say, now you have a custom, you have gone into a habit. The being in the body is good, going out is bad. Then you will attach to this be here and now, or to the body. And say in the same token, you hate the sound. And now you can understand in the wisdom training, your practice, your view, your attitude has now solidified, precipitated. The being inside the body is good, whatever the distraction is bad. So still you can see liking and disliking is there. The body and here is good. Past other distractions are bad. So whatever may be, when and where you find you cannot be here and now, you start develop kind of a hate, frustrating. And if you are to understand while I am living here, or be aware on the present moment, still I can listen without much of worrying, without much of hating it. So that kind of accommodation, even though it is a negative thing and you pull it from to the other places, but if you can see through this sound, still you are sitting. You can see in the two dimensions, body is closer, sound is far away. Sometimes you can see through it and still you can claim mindfulness is unshaken. Even the distractions are there. Maybe sound, maybe a pain, maybe a thought. And if you not go prepared, definitely you love to be here and now, and so much so you hate external thing. So when you go to the wisdom training, what you are going to say is, you use this base. The here now I am is the base when there is no distraction. And you use it as at home. Consider this as your second nature. But when and where something happens, you see that sound and my going out of the mind is not me, not myself, not volitional thing. It happened. But while being here, still that can be there without worry. So that kind of a license, that kind of a ability, you are already endowed with. But your mind is quickly deciding or judgmental and assuming it's a distraction. If you assume like that, it's a distraction. If you do not assume it as a distraction, you can still maintain the mindfulness. And last time when we were in Germany, there's a very little number of people, and one boy came, a German boy, and he wanted to do a project, and he found that Das Buddhist house is a good place, so he came. And people also were happy. And he also sitting and walking with us. And in the discussion, he came to the discussion and asked, can I ask a question? Yes, I told, no problem. Then what you all are doing? I told, we do mindfulness. What's the benefit of mindfulness? Then I told, you can be here and now. You can understand things as they are. Can I also practice? I said, why not? That you can live with us. And then I told, have you ever sit and understand or experience how many thought moments you can sit and understand that I am sitting? He told, no. I asked, are you happy to do that experiment? Yes, I am happy. Then I told, be here. In the next sitting, come and see how many thought moments you can be with the sitting. Or next day also, he was there luckily. And I asked, have you got any instructions for meditation? No. Then I gave a book. It says how to sit, how to walk, how to do day-to-day activities. Luckily, he translated it to German. And he reads very nice mantra, very good. And then I told, read the whole book, but not now. You take the instruction and do. Same day he came for the discussion. Then I asked, now, have you ever practiced sitting and understanding? Then he says, oh, maybe 2 minutes. I can sit. I know I am sitting. Then I asked him, how do you verify that you are sitting? I never verified it. But if you ask, I would say, I know I am not standing. Then ask you, how do you verify that you are standing, not you stand? Because when I am standing, my soul is the one going to get pressure. When I am sitting, I see the back. I told that is what the Buddha is asking. Whenever you know you are sitting, tell me the verification. Tell me the under the nose experience, how do you sit? And how long you can be. Only 2 minutes. Then I told exactly, very good. It's more than enough for a person like you. Then he says, while I am sitting, I can hear the motor vehicles are going there. How can that happen? Then I told, is your being here is disturbed by the sounds? Apparently not. Then I told, when the mindfulness is there, mindfulness is learning in, out, good, bad, here and there, all the kind of thing. But if you are not carried away by that kind of duality, you can say while sitting you can listen. While sitting you can listen and hate. And the wisdom training is while sitting you can listen and not hating, that is what you call the wisdom. You have this option. So when you look the life from that point of view, these irritations are no more irritations. They are cause and effect relationship, it is happening. If you account them, if you take them as irritation, definitely they will irritate you. But if you do not take it, they can't. So that training never happened in the moral restraint, concentration restraint. Both of them have I, myself, me concept. But when you go to the wisdom training, you let this, the gate crashes or natural events like intruding sounds, pain, thought happen and try to see, can still you dwell upon your primary object, how much it is disturbing you, and how much the disturbance is nothing but liking and disliking. So the moment the liking and disliking happen, the Buddha says it has characteristic with 3 signs, Olarikam, Paticcasamuppannan, Sankattam. It's very gross. You can understand this is good, this is bad. So that is the birthplace of the defilement. And it's a Sankattam, it's a arising thing, not before you can see it. It's a then and there arising. Olarikam, Paticcasamuppannan, they happen utterly with cause and effect. Whether you are claiming this me or not, it is happening. So therefore, when and where liking and disliking happens, try to understand that is the place you get committed. Then onward, it is becoming a sankhara or commitment, then you are answerable. Then onward you are answerable. Till that you are innocent. And if you understand it, then onward also you are innocent. You know it happened, I got my dislike, and that's it. You are not going to act, you are not going to transgress it, you are not going to make stories out of that. You say, yes, dislike happened, you report. While I am meditating, a sound happens, a dislike happens, I understood it as a dislike, I revert back to my Gochara Ajjata Bhumi, I can dwell in the sound itself. No harm, because your mindfulness is protecting you. So when that happens, I just wanted to mention that in the question and answer session also, I'll take the time here. When that happened, Pandita Sayadaw going to give a very nice example, nice kind of a narration. He says, say that a sound happens and it's irritating. You know dislike is there. If you can make sure before the sound and after the sound you are mindful, the sound created no defilement. Only thing you have to understand, before the sound happens, you are mindful. Maybe you are on your breath, or maybe you are on walking meditation, maybe you are on the body, whatever may be. And after the sound, you are healthily back and the your primary object, and you can find that the sound made no permanent change, permanent damage, and you can come back home. And when you come back home, if you feel again homely, if you again you feel back at home, or natural, then the sound created nothing. Of course, at that time you felt kind of a dislike, but when and where you reinstall your mindfulness to the same object, if the beginning and the end is mindful within whatever happening, no karmic forces. You make them null and void. So at the beginning you make null and void little sounds. And later when you are advancing Sandittika Pala, some little bit irritating sound, still you cope up with, tally with, and try to understand, I can cope up. And then you are going with a little higher sound. And ultimately, it's whatever the sound happens, you know, before the sound I am mindful and that was the object. And how do you verify? I know that I am sitting. When the sound happens, how do you know? You are no more sitting. You are no more on the epidermis. You are in the eardrum. And you know it is irritating. It is dislike. And then on the way back, if you healthily come back and body say, okay, sound made some kind of a jerk, but nothing do permanently. I am back at home. And whenever you can report these 3 stages, that means you know how to make even a irritating sound null and void. Even the thought, even the pain. So it is very nicely explained by the Malunkyaputta Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, and the Buddha gave kind of a clue, and then he was a very elderly monk. At the beginning, of course, Buddha is finding fault with him, like coming and asking individually the instructions, but later Buddha gave. But the Buddha mentioned was, the trick he played, Chakku viññaya rūpaṃ adittaṃ aditta pubbam na passati na passayanti attite mālunkya pemaṃ vā chandaṃ vā rāgaṃ vā. Imagine a visual object you have never seen. Now you are not also not seeing, looking. And you are not seeing, and it is not going to see in future also. A kind of a visual object. You have not looked earlier, you are not seeing. You are not looking now, you are not seeing it now, and it is not going to see in future also. Under such circumstances, such a visual object can make any desire, can make any kind of a love, can make any kind of attachment. No. And then are sounds, and the smell, taste, touch, thoughts, whichever not cross you. Then he says, no. Then the Buddha says, whatever happening now is the entirety of your defilement. Take care about that, then everything gone. So it is very, very radical. Your every desire, otherwise people think we have a accumulated defilements, accumulated personality traits, accumulated likings and disliking. What the Buddha says is, whatever happening here and now is the culprit. Don't worry about the past and the future. And whenever Mahasi Sayadaw taking this sutta, he clearly explained, Paticca Samuppanna, here and now, under your very nose, secure this thought moment, and then you know how to make it expanded, diversified, multivarious. So, moment you take care about the present moment, you are on the cumulative skill, art, and when you go there, ultimately Venerable Malunkyaputta was so happy, and he explained what he explained to the Buddha. Imagine, Bhante, when I am looking something without mindfulness, how much my mind is carried away and storytelling and blackguarding that particular person, event and that kind of thing. Instead, if you look at that irritating sound, irritating visual object with mindfulness, even if you see it, even if you have the likings and disliking, as far as the before and after is mindful, that thing will never going to create any precipitation, any accumulation, any settling down. So therefore you are assured. So Upanishad Sayadaw never attribute that his theory to the Malunkyaputta, but that is the way the Buddha explained. So therefore when you come to the Sandittika Phala of the Panya Sikha, that is to say wisdom training, you can understand your sila sikha, that is moral restraint, samadhi sikha, concentrated restraint, you utterly put into use. And then you can see, if you keep your mind open, the defilements are so weak when compared to mindfulness. Not a single defilement is permanently can change your mindfulness. That is what the Buddha says, mindfulness is so powerful. So therefore don't worry about the defilement, don't talk about the defilement, don't make stories out of the defilement, talk about the mindfulness. Try to reinstall when and where possible. And you find it's your birthright. Your body is there. When and where distraction happen, come back to the body and see how healthily you entertain your body, love your body, be here and now. And body never reject you. When and where you come back, body never reject you. So, most important thing, according to my calculation, the initial part or the proximate cause for the panyasika is when you are distracted, when you are doing something wrong, red-handed you must understand this is wrong. That's the most important thing, then only you can think about the rescue. But the underlying tendency must be, underlying thing must be, you must not worry about that. But the moral people, they are always worrying, therefore they don't know how to come back. So understanding you are wrong, and in the same token, not to worry about that is what you call the wisdom training. So the Buddha is giving us a chance, because you are a moral person, you have the concentration. So let the sounds come and distract you, pain come and distract you, thought come and distract you, visual, whatever may be. Red-handed, now I am not mindful. And understand and try, restrain, can I be unregretful? Then you are the winner. If you get regret, then even the Buddha can't save you. And if you think that regret is your moral responsibility, I am telling utterly it is not. You can be in the wrong place, you are verily understood, diagnosed, but you have the capacity not to worry. That is why the Venerable Sariputta says, Pamade na kampati iti satibala. You are in pamada, you are not appamada, you are not diligent, you are negligent. But you know, but you have a chance not to worry because you are aware of it. That your knowledge is so powerful than the mistake or slip you have done. And then definitely you can understand your Gocharajjata, this is dangerous place, this is not done, and my body is there, how quickly I can go back to the body. If you are distracted in the mind, definitely you are not aware of your Gocharajjata Bhumi, you are not consider it is your duty to come back, so therefore you are struggling with your tools, struggling with your formulas, struggling with your knowledge, the simplicity gone. And once you come back, body, verify it. See the first day when you become mindful, whenever the mind become, body become your primary object and mindful, how did you verify how innocent? And then same innocence you can come back whenever you go wandering thoughts, sounds, and when you come back, verify the body, and the body is ever happy to accept you like a suckling baby, just like a mother accept you. Never. Body will never reject you. So instead, if you go to the Bodhi Puja and going to give a Bodhi Puja, and going to Pirit, going to this chanting, that chanting, someone will exploit you. This is the agenda, what I call the religion. The answer is which? Answer is Sandittikai. At the beginning you do it with risk, you do it with the fear, you do it with little doubts. But more and more you to reiterate, you feel like sharing others, telling, main thing is, darling, not to worry. If you worry, even the Buddha can't. Main thing is not to worry. So understand how much you must be mentally and physically healthy to listen to Dhamma and to understand the Dhamma, understand the Buddha. That is what it calls Sukho Buddhanang Uppado. Whenever the Buddha arises, he says, main thing is not to worry. So those who are meritorious, they are born with this knowledge, they listen to the Buddha. Others is, my main human right is to worry, so therefore I worry. And they find others who are not worrying as the culprits. And they put petitions and complain telling that you must worry now, please worry. So we say, yes, we, for our friendship, I also will worry. And that is the way we are living in the society. But when you go to the Buddha, he says, don't worry, I am here, Buddha here, Dhamma here, everything is washable, not permanent. The way is there, that washable, the washing off is a panyasika, but you can't do it with the moral restraint and the concentration restraint. You must have the tools. But if you are not using this tool, if you are stopping at the concentration level, so where to go? What is the sandittika? What is you can do here and now? Never it happen. So when and where you are using, it is not you are going against the nature. You are going with worries is against the nature. And one person, Muji, if you go there and click in the YouTube, you can find it. He is not a Buddhist. But he says, many people come to me for the consultation or kind of advices regarding the tension, frustration, all the kind of mental situation. He says, I am not a teacher, I am never proclaimed as a teacher, but people when they come, then I simply ask, can you give me that worry and leave the place? No. They want to bring it back. Because they want to tell another person, go and say, I am such a worry, and this and that, but never keep. And he says, I will tell you one thing. The worry cannot live without your mind, but your mind can live without the worry. He says, hardly some people understand, they are so happy. Our mind has a capacity, that is what the Buddha means, that is what the Dhamma means, that is what the Sangha means. The capacity. So if you consider worrying is my human right, I must be always worrying, and then you are worrying, yes, no problem. But if you understand, my mind has the capacity, the worries can't live without my mind, it's always pestering. But a healthy mind can live without the worry. And that is what the teaching in the wisdom training. Your mind is lustrous, enlightened. Pabasaramidam bhikkave chittang agantuke upakkalitte. Tang atsutoto putujjano nappajanati tassa atsutoto putujjanasa samadhi bhavana nathiti vadami. The Buddha says, everyone's mind is glittering, lustrous, it is so bright. But outright it is smeared with external defilement. It's a very thin layer. But outlook it appears like a defile. That is what you call the putujjana. If you also look at your mind from that point of view, whatever the concentration, meditation, it's utter waste. You will never achieve something because you see yourself as a defiled person. You yourself as something full of muck, full of idiotness, full of ignorance. But you know it is just outer coating. If you can see through, inside, Buddha. And the second sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, Ekaka Nipata, immediately after the Buddha says, Pabassaramidam bhikkave chittang, agatnuke upakkalitte tang sutavato arya savako janati, tassa sutavato arya savakasa, samadhi bhavana athiti vadami. The mind itself is utterly pure. But outer layer is, due to the external accumulation, rusting, oily and greasy. But person who listens to Dhamma, he knows this outer layer is nothing but very thin layer. And if he can see through it, he knows inside is fully bright. And for such a positive person, concentration meditation is working because it is nothing earning, it is rediscovering your own mind. And worst lot is the Buddhist. They never accept it. They think my mind is utterly ignorance, it's full of defilements, and therefore he also look the defilements of the other people. No self-sympathy, no sympathy to others. So therefore, more and more you do wisdom practice, you understand the human mind is an endowment. To rediscovering, you have to do away with the outer layer, agantuka upakkilesa. And it is just like a paint of a car. For the appearance sake, you have the paint, but you can rub it off and repaint it. Whatever may be, you can train your brain and change your mind. Train your mind and change your brain. So you can change. And recently one person told, even your number plate can be changed. That's also happening nowadays. So what about the paint? So, but we are looking the car through the paint, outer. So the Buddha says, when you go to the deep, profound sea, outermost superficial layer is always shaky due to the waves. The lowest most is shaky, layer is shaky because of the big fish. But the middle area never shaken. There is no root cause for the waves to happen. It is ever static. Likewise, your mind, outer surfaces are full of distraction, conditioning, liking and disliking, cultural and everything. But it's very thin. When you go deep, you find the Buddha nature. You find the lustrous nature. So therefore, believing that majority of it is good, make the difference. You yourself start self-love, you start sympathizing your mistakes because you have the sharp tool, the penetrating tool, the mindfulness, the diligence, and outer layer is there. As far as you are not claiming yourself as the outer layer, you can go inside and understand. And that penetration is called insight. Usually we are outside, we are looking outside. But when you go inside, moment you pierce through, and whenever you see not the individual characteristic, by the common characteristic of the thing, you understand these common characteristics never care whether you are a male or female. It does not care whether you are well-versed in Tripitaka or not. They treat you exactly the same. So therefore, when and where you go to the Panya Sikha or wisdom restraint, the Sandittika quality under the nose experience is very vivid. That is why after the Sandittika, Buddha says Akalika, no time gap. Moment you understand your inner is good, outer layer is with accumulated defilements, you look from this positive viewpoint or productive way, then you are a different person. That very change is not within the time frame. But when will it happen while you are sitting? You don't know. Will it happen while you are walking? You don't know. Will it happen while you are in the day-to-day? You don't know. Will it happen while you are listening to Dhamma? You don't know. Will it happen while it is in the question and answer? You don't know. They are interacting each other, reciprocal each other. So therefore you have to give everything, and one day you get the positive thinking, and that is what the wisdom called. The whole knowledge outside is out of hatred. Your whole knowledge, because you are not happy here, that is why you do research. That's why you are expecting this and that. So that is happening due to the Micchaditi. So therefore you have to understand with respect to that Micchaditi, here and now is something everyone can go there. And if you give the priority, give the chair for this mindfulness and the here and now, you can understand other knowledge is good as far as they are servants. But don't try to be a servant to the knowledge, because external world, that is called lokipanya, or theoretical understanding, happening through negative, hateful understanding. So therefore there is a huge relationship with the hate and the wisdom. Hateful people are very wise. Do you have to, if you wish to be a king, you have to be a hateful person. You will be very wise. Then everything is happening because you are a survival of the fittest kind of thing, and you know what to do. So therefore don't hate. It's utter waste. Love the way hate. And put them into the wisdom, and that is the what make you alive. So therefore understand the hate. It's not the opposite of the love. It's a shadow of the love. Hate is just a shadow of the love. Try to understand when it happens. So therefore, moment you hate, you are a mercenary. Moment you love, try to understand the value or utility value of the hate, then it is not such a big culprit. So in the wisdom, when you go further and further, the love come into being not by loving kind and meditation. By practice it is happening. So therefore, even though you are not taking much time for the loving kind of meditation, when you go to the wisdom restraint, it happens. Naturally it happens because you never hate. And then love is there. So therefore this sandhitika pala, or sandhitika quality of Dhamma is very scientific. Only the science so-called is extrovert. This is the difference, this is introvert. Methodology is exactly the same. Reductionism. You don't approach to everything to the gross thing, apply to the very tiny thing, very easily you can understand. Focusing to that very tiny thing is what you call the concentration. There are a lot of techniques. But once you go there, you understand whether you go extrovert or introvert. Things are happening in the law of the nature. So the Buddha says, introvert thing is with an end. Extrovert is without end. So that is why the introvert happened, and that is also the highest or blooming part happened in the more wisdom restraint. So don't expect that to happen without the moral restraint and the concentration restraint. So simply you can put moral restraint and concentration restraint is your duty. Wisdom restraint is an endowment, a gift you get for your efficiency in the moral restraint and the concentration restraint. But your appreciation must be there. When you go there, things are happening, so without liking and dislike, without preconceived ideas, without reaction, without assuming, if let things happen, what is happening is wisdom. It's a endowment due to your early to restraint. So that is the most contributive part of the Buddha to the human kind. So if we are not experiencing and tasting that part of the Dhamma, that sap of the Dhamma, juice of the Dhamma, we are losing, we are missing something. But on the other hand, it is not everyone's Dhamma. Very rare people, very little proportion can do it. Not to discourage, I am telling, it is so profound. Because people hate the truth. People hate this wisdom. Because of the conventional knowledge. So therefore you have to do away with the conventional knowledge by the moral restraint and the concentration restraint. And when you are opening, the sandhutika pala, or the under the nose experience is so obvious. Our Lokuhamsa used to say, when these four elements explaining everything in such a vivid way, we can't see elements as elements because we claim the me, mine and myself. Moment you see the air element, water element, they exactly show cause and effect relationship. But when it happens, we claim this is me, mine and myself, then our vision is veiled or distracted. So try to let elements to play in the elementary way and be a neutral observer, and then that is called wisdom restraint, and that Sandittika Bala is the most prominent and most living and dramatic thing on the life. So if anyone can get the understanding of this wisdom training in this retreat, all the others are going to get benefited. Wisdom training don't expect the popularity society at large to understand. If one person understood, whole world is going to get benefited. That is why it says, Sukho Buddhana Upado. When the Buddha arises, everyone is getting benefited. Therefore, your mindfulness practice is not selfish. When and where you understand, the good vibrations are going to give so much of peace to the world. So don't consider you have lost, gave up your dear and near one and came for your personal achievement. No. Whenever you come up to the wisdom training, it is pervading, it is cascading. So therefore, don't reduce the mind to think that I am very selfish. No. Wisdom trained level, understand, it is going there. So therefore, be encouraged and try to practice the same way patiently. More and more you practice, definitely, simply with mindfulness, you are following these 3 stages: moral, concentration, and the wisdom restraint, and you are the one to get the benefit, because it is Sandittika under your very nose. So with that remark, I would like to sum up the talk today. Thank you very much for listening.